Hi YouTube, this is Felicia with Bible Scraps, and you are looking at two of my Hobby Lobby hutches. But check this out, you guys. I filmed and edited the whole video and just deleted all of my videos. I added a segment just minutes ago, and I don't know what I was thinking. I went to my video editor and just deleted everything. Well, you know what? It happens, right? And I regret that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm doing this again, but in my other video, I shared the whole process. I shared my hutches before I added my stamps. Got a good look at the colors. And then I shared the whole process of going through my stamps and adding them to the hutches. I picked up 3 of these hutches. I shared a video on 2 of the hutches. I found a 3rd one the next day in a city called Merced that was actually closer to me than the city where I picked up my original 2. Now, if you can't tell, I have my hutches in my windowsill. When I picked these up, I knew exactly where I wanted to install these, and they fit perfectly. And I love it because this is a big window, like a bay window, and it brings in a lot of sunlight. Sometimes I like that, but sometimes, well, a lot of times, all the time, if I'm filming at this desk, it will cause shadows in the videos. So having my hutches in the windows will prevent a lot of that sun from coming through. By the way, I took down my blind. Now, you see my alcohol markers in between my hutches. I will move those because I don't want my markers in direct sunlight. So I'm going to zoom in a little closer. By the way, the paint I'm using, okay, 2 total different colors. When I went to Joann's, I did not have any colors in mind. I grabbed what I saw. The color on the left is called Coral. I didn't want to go with the shabby colors, and I thought coral would be a nice alternative to the pink. And that color on the right is called Wild Oats. Now, I do like that color. My original thought was to go for a vintage yellow, and that's perfect. It has undertones of a little bit of green, but you definitely see the yellow in it. But it also reminds me of almond, just a nice vintage color. When I put these in the windows yesterday before I added the stamps, I didn't really care for the wild oat, but I wasn't going to paint these again. But the great thing about paint, if you don't like it, you can repaint. But being it's the next morning and I'm looking at both colors, I do like them both. The lighting was different in my craft room last night, and that's why I edited my last video to add a segment to show how these look in today's light. How I wish I didn't do that because I would still have my video. But anyway, I hope you guys can get a good view of the color. And I know some of you are wondering, well, will they fall? Well, the one on the left, that coral colored one, you can't see that clear tape. I've anchored both sides on the top with clear tape that's attached to my window and on the wall. It was pretty stable already, but it wasn't as stable as the one on the right, which I did not add any tape to it. So I'm pretty confident that I will not have any problems with these units wobbling or, any stamps falling off of them. And you also may notice that my hutches appear to be different heights. They're the same height. I'm using different bases to lift my hutches. Okay, let me get a little closer to give you guys a view of my stamps. I am most pleased. I am most fortunate. You guys, if you could pick up one of these units from Hobby Lobby, pick it up. It's like hitting the craft lottery. Hobby Lobby only has 3 or 4 of these per store. And if you can get one, you are taking a piece of Hobby Lobby history, a piece of craft history. You'll have that right in your home. So I have 3 pieces of Hobby Lobby and craft history in my home. Every crafter's heart to organize. And several weeks ago, I was blessed to pick up these cassette tape units from a local thrift store that I now use to organize my ink pads, and I shared a video on that. And now I have my rubber stamps organized. This is the first time in my crafting history that I am able to see most of my rubber stamps at one time. I say most because I do have a small box of stamps that are not added on these hutches. One thing I did not want to do, I did not want to clutter my hutches. I wanted my stamps to be accessible. I did not want to have to move stamps to get to a stamp. Though for the larger stamps, and I'm sorry you guys, last night I did not have my serger and my sewing machine on my desk. I put those back on the desk after I made the video. So for the larger stamps, like the bottom shelf, I thought, and you do see a couple of stamps in front of those larger stamps. I don't mind doing that, but I didn't want to clutter up my hutches. Yeah, I wanted organization. I did not want storage. So you see that I have some space left. I can bring my stamps in closer, but I like the spacing so far. Now these bottom, and let me change angles. The bottom shelf, they hold your jumbo stamps. But as I was adding stamps to my hutches, by the way, on top, those are the stamps that didn't fit in the bottom shelf. Well, I discovered, and let me go back to this side, I discovered that the top shelf can house the very tall stamps. This stamp would not fit, as well as all the stamps on top. They were too tall for the bottom shelf, but I discovered if you tilt your stamp when you put it in, it will fit in the top shelf. You will not be able to see your full stamp depending on how tall your stamp is. So I'll leave this one on top. And by the way, this stamp is gorgeous. I shared a masking tutorial using this stamp, and it's vintage. Love it, but you can see my dog got to the corner. Woo! Would have tore this stamp up. Thank God I walked in on her. So plenty of space with this hutch. There's 10 shelves. The shelves are, some are the same size, but you have different heights of the shelves. And one thing, if I had a complaint, which I don't have a complaint, but if I had a complaint, like, let me choose this stamp. By the way, this comes from my Project Subby Lunchy, Wendy. She sent me 3 beautiful stamps, and this is one of them. And she also sent this African dancer here. Thank you, Wendy. What I want to say is I wish there was a level. Oh, you know, here's one right here. It's tilted. In order for this stamp to fit in the shelf, I had to tilt it like that or put it on the bottom, which it would be a lot of room left if I had it on the bottom. You guys, I am so sorry about my sewing machines on my desk, But I'm still upset about my video, deleting my video. So it is what it is. I have cleared out most of my stamps except for a box. And in that box, I have stamps by a company called Stampscapes. And I have another area in my craft room, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek of that. I think I'll put my Stampscapes stamps there. Now, what's lacking in these hutches are most of my faith-based stamps. I have a cabinet I picked up from Tuesday Morning by We Are Memory Keepers, and I call that cabinet my Faith's Cabinet. And I have most of my faith-based stamps in that cabinet, though you do see a sprinkling of crosses. And I just remembered, I do have a lot of other red rubber stamps. I have those stored by season and occasion. They're not here. For instance, my gingerbread stamps. Yeah, these stamps are pretty much everyday type stamps. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do for Christmas and Valentine's and those other special occasions. This is the area that I dedicated to rubber stamps before I got my hutches. It's a small area, but I was able to fit quite a few stamps up there. However, a lot of stamps were hidden. This was mostly for display, not for organization. But now that I have my hutches, well, I can organize and actually see what I have. Therefore, if you can see it, you're more apt to use it. And this little corner here, I will dedicate for my Stampscapes stamps. You guys, here's a final view. And yes, I removed my sewing machines. I was being a little stubborn. I hate deleting videos because one reason why I do videos, I'm a record keeper. I can go back 15, 20. My kids can check out these videos. It's a way to keep history. And because I don't remember much, these videos will spark my memory. And I just hate that I deleted that video. But anyway, I hope you guys can see my stamps on the bottom. I'll try to get a little more in. Forgive the shadows. I hope I have inspired you guys to pick up your hutch. Many of you have. Many of you are seeking one. A lot of stores may be sold out, but keep checking because just 3 days ago, I picked up my third hutch, and this store had all 3 of their hutches. No one bought them as of 3 days ago. They had one left. I picked up one, and a local crafter picked up one. Teresa. Hi, Teresa. But a store employee told me that no one bought them. And they were out for a while. So the store employees thought about buying them. Keep checking your stores. Make sure you explain what you are talking about because you might get an employee that has no clue what you are talking about. What I would say, go to the craft aisle, look at the hutch that you have your stamps on. You have that same hutch on clearance. Where is it? How many do you have? And if you have it, please put one on hold for me. And that's how I got all 3 of my hutches.